What's going on, YouTube? Just got back from the gym. Had myself a little protein shake. Did you know that Coke Zero still has calories even though it doesn't? Yes, I do, anonymous commenter. Thank you. I wanted to talk about how I got my first job as a developer. So I wish this was a little bit more of a glamorous story than what it is, right? I wish I could have just say I graduated and I got an $80,000 a year job, but this wasn't as glamorous as the kids who went to the boot camp full-time and then they got a full-time job right after, and they had the employer meet and greets and lunch and learns and lunch and present my project to you. The boot camp that I went to wasn't even designed to get you a job. It was designed to improve your professional skills. Like, I had to basically harass them to get the statistics of how many people end up with jobs after they finish it. And after calling and harassing, it was about 28%. That was the only thing I could afford to do at the time, and couldn't just quit my life and do it full time. So I figured I'll just take the risk, and if I work hard enough, I can do it. Let me preface this by saying I wasn't the smartest student of my class. I was usually the last one to understand new topics, and whenever the teacher pulled up a toy problem, you know, one of those like reverse this string, stuff like that seems easy now to me, was really, really hard for me. And they would put up a toy problem for a warm-up, and I would stare at it and rethink my entire life, and why am I even doing this? I wasted my money, whatever. So I kept showing up anyway. I tried my best to absorb all the information, all the knowledge that I could. So I just showed up and did what I could, even though it was really challenging for me. So on the last night of the dev boot camp, basically each group took turns to present their projects, the UI, UX people, the iOS people, and the web development people. And I wanted to present my project. It was just a simple little workout app. I wanted to get my face out there, even if my work wasn't the best. But I was told there wasn't enough time for each student to present. So, sure, that's fine. But as expected, they only took the top 2 people in my class, right? Which makes the teachers look good. And that was it. I sat there and watched the star students present their projects, expecting something cool to happen, employers to show up. None of that happened. It was just me. My family wasn't there. I just sat there thinking, okay. So when I graduated from boot camp, actually before I graduated from boot camp, I just started applying to jobs, right? Most of them told me no, as you'd expect, and a lot just flat out never responded, but that's okay. You know, copy and paste, change some details to fit the description of the job that you're applying to. And at this point, I just wanted to code in a professional environment. I would get stuck on a problem, and then I'd go look it up, and then all of a sudden, boom, Overwatch somehow is on my screen, and 10 minutes of side project, 3 hours of Overwatch. So I went to every job site I could think of, applied to almost every position. Obviously, I know this has a low probability of working out, but you miss all the shots you don't take. And if they say no, I don't lose anything except for the few minutes it took to apply to the position. I'm pretty positive I pissed off some HR ladies when they emailed me, please stop applying to our positions. So I'm gonna take a moment and a shout out to all the HR ladies I upset. I'm sorry. None of the normal job sites panned out, right? So I'm actively losing a piece of my soul as I show up to corporate America every day, coming in, sitting at my cubicle. I would browse jobs, dreaming of a remote life, cool software vibe, dog-friendly environment, Xbox you could play at lunch. Everything that you think of when you think of like a startup environment or like a stereotype nerd environment. A job that doesn't seem like a job, but people that fit your age, fit your mindset, you all have the same kind of interests, and it's software. So you're doing the same thing. So I went to Angel's List, and that's a site for startups looking for people to code for basically little to no money or just equity, and all with the risk of possibly not having a job in the near few months, because almost 80% of startups fail. One of the places they responded back, and they said, hey, we're interested. Could you come in and talk as soon as possible? I said, yeah, I'll be there same day. I was already at like minimal focus at my job. But after I got that email, I was just counting down the minutes, looking at the clock every 2 seconds. So I drove across town in 5 o'clock traffic, and I started to get a little emotional. I was blasting like motivational music, like you can do it. I didn't even know why they wanted me there. I was just excited that they wanted me. I started to get like a little bit teary-eyed that someone had said yes to me, right? Each piece of rejection took like a little bite out of me. So I was having this weird inner conflict of not caring about being rejected and actually wondering sometimes if this is going to keep happening and I'm going to be stuck at this job forever. Yeah, I don't care. Say they said no, but like at the same time, I'm like, this sucks because I want a job. So I went to the startup, and when I got there, I was pretty nervous. I really had no idea why they wanted me to come in, but I was going to try and take this moment and learn what a real software interview was like. So I take the elevator up to the 4th floor. It was this old school building downtown Salt Lake City. It opens up. I walk in, and it was like slow-mo. It was like, and there's like dogs running around playing. There's this giant traffic light, this huge TV with a Wii underneath it, and then some dudes on the couch just like coding. And I was like, So they pull me into this conference room, sit down, tells me what the company's about, what they do, the different types of tech that they use. I'm just like nodding my head and explain what I'm looking for. I'm just like, I'm passionate about technology, not a specific programming language. And then they gave me a code test. The code test was to write tests that check code. I never learned how to do that at bootcamp. Clearly wasn't on my resume. And I was like, okay. So I decided to do it. Right? I spend all night working on it. I'm just fumbling my way through it. And I decide, okay, it's done. I email it back, and they say, okay, can you come in and can you talk with us again? And to both our surprises, it was correct. And he asked me what I could have done better with it. And I told him there was a couple things I didn't check for, but they weren't in the instructions specifically. You know, he said, that's great. Unfortunately, I just don't have enough experience for what they need right now. And as I left, I said, would you consider something part-time? I just want to code on something that matters. And he said he'd think about it. And I went home, and about 2 days later, in the middle of my work day, I got an email saying they'd like to bring me on, and they're willing to pay me, and not only pay me, but pay me more than minimum wage. What? I was prepared to work for free at this point. Right? I had a job. I just wanted to code and be in a professional environment. And I asked if I could work on the weekends and remote a couple days a week. And in retrospect, that was probably pushing it for my very first software job, but I always knew I kind of wanted to work remote. And he said yes. And that was kind of the moment. I was feeling like a rock star, right? I had achieved the dream. Like, it was the office just like I imagined. I could bring my dog in, and like fully stocked kitchen of snacks, couch work wherever you want. Like, I'm a software developer now, right? Come at me, I'm a software developer, like throwing that word out, right? Like, and I showed up for my first day. They gave me my laptop, and he said, all right, here's what we want you to do first. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. Shit. Now I have to produce for these people. I actually have to code stuff they're going to use, right? Now I'm like, do I back out? How'd I get in this situation? I don't know what I'm doing. I have no idea how to do this task. I start to question, rethink, is this the right path for me? I don't know what I'm doing. But this actually has a name, and it's called Impostor Syndrome. And this is actually pretty common in software development. And even now, I feel this when my boss gives me tasks that I don't know how to do. But I just take a step back, and I know that with research, time, I can figure it out or find a resource to help me figure it out. And they hire you to figure out problems, not do a specific task, generally. So the thing I've noticed is the more comfortable you are feeling, I don't know, like you don't know what you're doing, the better. You know, it's willing to stay humble and willing to learn than be humbled by someone else who knocks you off your pedestal. All right, the first task they gave me was in a totally different language. It was in Ruby. I learned Angular at bootcamp. The second day I was there, he slammed a Ruby on Rails book on my desk and said, here you go, better start learning. At first I thought it was a joke, but from their point of view, they figured, hey, if he can learn how to do Angular in a short amount of time, he can figure out how to do what we're using in a short amount of time. I worked there for almost 4 months building my experience. Then I got a full-time job doing software, and then I kept the part-time internship at the same time. So I had a full-time software job and then the part-time software job. And I did that for about 4 more months, and the total I was there was about 8 months. And if I could do this, right, anyone can do this. I don't see myself as special. I just realized this is where I'm at in life. This is where I want to go, and the difference between these 2 points is just a bunch of work, right? For example, as I was writing the script for this, right, I was thinking, all right, I got some dinner, and I want to sit down on the couch and watch a show for a good 45 seconds, contemplating if I wanted to keep writing this while I eat or watch TV and browse my phone or eat food. What would probably happen is that I wouldn't finish it and I would sit on the couch and I would get tired and then be like, oh, I'll just finish it tomorrow, right? It's the little things like that of just the moments where you're like, all right, I'll just do it. Those little moments add up. And when you're doing these things, when, you know, the majority of people be like, I'm just gonna go sit down. Haven't sat down all day, it's been a long day. Anyway, this was the story of how I got my first actual paid job as a software developer. If you have any questions, hop in our Discord and chat with us there. I'm usually there. Just leave any questions. I'll see if I can help you out. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe. I'm always making these crazy videos. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next one.